the introduction. So, hello everybody. I'm Lex Sylvestre, doctoral candidate at Sorbonne University under the supervision of Emmanuel Chailloux and Jocelyn Serrault. And I would like to present you.
Still barely hear you in the room.
Pardon?
You're too soft even for this room.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, okay. So I continue. I would like to present you our paper, paddle paper about FPGA programming using declarative languages and implementing declarative languages on FPGAs. So an FPGA is a hardware architecture based on a reconfigurable routing matrix, interconnecting logic elements, memory blocks, input-output blocks, and all of these elements are reconfigurable in order to implement a custom circuit, which is controlled by a global clock. To program an FPGA, the hardware designer has to specify the behavior of a circuit in a hardware description language, such as VHDL. Then the hardware description is synthesized using a logic synthesis tool, which produces a configuration file to be flashed onto the FPGA board. This way, the declarative programmer can use FPGAs as a compilation target to hardware accelerate its applications. And at the other end of the spectrum, the circuit that is implemented on the FPGA board can interact with the physical world, that is blinking LEDs, for instance. So the idea of the paper is how to conceal, let's say, acceleration, general purpose computations, and interactions. So in the one end, we want to provide high-level features to program for programming hardware accelerators in a declarative style, and in the other end, we want to be able to safely interact with the physical world by focusing on the timing behavior of the programs. So for this purpose, we are designing the ECLA language, which is a strict functional language core, inspired by both OCaml and the synchronous reactive language Lustre. ECLA is compiled to VHDL to reconfigure an FPGA board. ECLA is a quite small language with few programming constructs. However, in this presentation, I will show you that it is expressive and efficient enough to implement the OCaml virtual machine on an FPGA. I will let me give you some intuition about the syntax and the implementation of the language. An ECLA program has a main function that computes a value. It is an expression language with possibly auxiliary definitions, such as this function GCD, computing the greater common divisor of two integers a and b. The language is statically typed, and there is no general recursion in ECLA, but with the keyword rec, we can use tie recursive formulations, tie recursive functions. So programs may not terminate, but there is no need to have a stack to compile such program. The ECLA compiler is built as a pipeline of semantics preserving transformations. For instance, we eliminate higher order functions. We make explicit we let lexical environment explicit by lambda lifting, and we inline all non-recursive functions. Then, and there is also other passes. Then, to be simple, the normalized program that is obtained is translated to a synchronous automaton. And how it's work? Each time-recursive function definition becomes a state in the automaton. And the automaton has also an initial state, idle, and each time-recursive function call becomes a transition in the automaton, which wait for the next tick, assign the function arguments to the formal parameters, and continue to the state corresponding to the Kali function. And so there is a lot of implementation details there, but the basic idea is that in ECLA, the timing behavior of the generated code is reflected in the semantics of the language. That is, in ECLA, the program execution is modelized as a sequence of clock cycles, clock cycles separated by clock ticks. For instance, this simple program compute in one clock cycle a pair 42, 43. And once finished, the program restarts at the next clock cycle. And the cycle is the clock cycle of the FPGA target, let's say 50 megahertz on a small FPGA board. In ECLA, each programming construct reduces instantaneously, that is within the clock cycle before the next clock tick, except recursive function call that pauses until the next clock tick. For instance, so the language is strict. We first compute the first lead binding, GCD 510, that return a value 5 after 2 ticks. Then in the same clock cycle, the computation GCD11 start and respond after 1 tick. And then in this clock cycle, the program, the last computation, x plus y, is performed and return instantaneously the value 6. In ECLA, there is also parallel lead bindings, where basically the two computations are performed in parallel with a synchronization point, which take no time. That is, there at the cycle where the two computations are finished, the body of the let block is executed. In general, ECLA programs have inputs and outputs. That is, they are mapped to physical input-output. That is, they take sensors as argument and produce values to be assigned to actuators. For example, in this program, you can imagine the value of a button pressed or not. That is bind to a formal parameter I, and when the button is, let's say, is pressed, the computation GCD 510 is executed, and in this case, the value of y is fixed for during all the execution, the single execution of the program, until the program returns a value. And in this case, we can say that we do not consider this program as reactive, because in a sense, some input values are in your head, and the one output value is delayed. So we want to reject such a program by a type of discipline, that is by abstracting the response time of program, of the execution of a program, The syntax for response time is there 0, that means instantaneous, the program responds in the clock cycle before the next clock tick, or 1, that is the program responds after a clock tick, or response time can be an addition of 2 response time or the maximum of 2 response times. And we denote function having a response time of 0 with a type constructor double arrow, saying that such functions are reactive, and other functions are denoted with the constructor arrow and are considered as non-reactive. And there is a quite simple type system, syntax directed, with a rule for each construct in the language. For instance, the response time of a conditional is the response time of the condition plus the response time of the maximum response time between the response times of the 2 bunches. So it is simple. There is no need to annotate the source program. Now we want to bridge reactive and non-reactive functions in a program. To do that, we introduce a programming construct exec for reducing an expression step by step while returning either a default value or the value of the computation. For instance, this program computing GCD 510 take 3 cycles. It is non-reactive, but using exec, we can wrap the computation in the exec block to return a value at each clock cycle, and so we can deal with possibly inputs that come during the computation. Is it clear? So back to a previous example where the program was not reactive because some input values were ignored and the result was delayed. With exec, you can write the program in this way to be sure to, for instance, to notify the environment that the computation run and with a special output ready, the Boolean value there. ECLA features also local memory, in fact registers that are local memories to save values between successive executions of the program. So the construct is reg f last e0. It represents a local memory associated to an update function which has to be reactive and an initial value. For instance, we can encode a counter this way, like we can do in a data flow programming style, like in Lustre. Now, we have also extended ECLA with global mutable arrays implemented as RAM blocks, so it's no more declarative. The goal is to provide the implementer with low-level features to implement typically a runtime system. Each write takes 1 clock cycle, each read takes 2 clock cycles, and currently we do not support concurrent memory accesses. So now I propose you to present a practical application of this language, which is a hardware implementation of OCaml and a runtime for OCaml to be synthesized on an FPGA. So the OCaml virtual machine is a stack-based machine. It is a call-by-value adaptation of the Quivin machine with a complex optimization to avoid intermediate closure allocations. Here is our compilation flow for OCaml on FPGA. The OCaml program is compiled to bytecode by the OCaml bytecode compiler OCaml-C. Then the bytecode is encoded as an ECLA array of integers, and embedded in the source code of the OCaml virtual machine and the runtime, the OCaml runtime, including a stop and copy garbage collector for automatic memory management. This ECLA program is compiled by the ECLA compiler to VHDL to be synthesized on an FPGA. In OCaml, the values are either a pointer or an immediate value, a pointer to a block of value, successive values, or an immediate value. In our implementation, we keep this representation by defining type value as a pair of a word and a boolean saying if it is an integer or a pointer. And the size of the word is fully customizable. And all values in ECLA are encoded by bit vectors. The OCaml heap and stack are allocated in ECLA array of customizable size. Now, the bytecode interpreter can call ECLA functions. That is, in fact, we use the FFI mechanism from OCaml initially to call C functions. In this case, it is the same ID to have let's say a stub to convert values from the OCaml word, and then call a function, an ECLA function, let's say a GCD previously seen, and then go back to the OCaml word. And such a call is very much faster than bytecode execution. We will come back to this later. We have ported a simplified version of the OCaml standard library by manually translating external C code to ECLA. This is tedious. For example, we do not support the OCaml polymorphic structural equality because a stack is needed to encode such a block traversal. Or on an FPGA, it is difficult to deal with floating point operations, and we do not support object-oriented OCaml features yet. We compared our VM implementation versus O2B, which is a port of Microbe. It is a C implementation of the OCaml virtual machine targeting a softcore processor synthesized on an FPGA board. And we target the same FPGA board, and our VM is 50 times faster than this implementation. On small programs, that is a Taiyo recursion, Takeuchi general recursion, apply that use a lot of high order functions, a problem solving, a TUI traversal, and another example with exceptions and sharing. In conclusion, what is the point of using such implementation of OCaml on FPGAs using ECLA? The idea is to mix interaction and computations. Interaction programmed in ECLA and computation programmed in OCaml, calling hardware accelerators written in ECLA. ECLA is a synchronous functional language for designing reactive embedded applications on FPGAs, with a construct exec for bridging reactive and non-reactive functions. We have implemented the OCaml VM as a reactive ECLA function using exec, which enables the OCaml bytecode to call external functions, that is hardware accelerators written in ECLA. final remarks about performances. ORVM implementation is very slow compared to CPU implementation, in particular because we target a low-end FPGA at only 50 megahertz. But the external functions are very fast. For instance, the ECLA function GCD perform a type called each clock cycle. So it is 65 times faster than the same an equivalent version running compiled to bytecode and running by ORVM implementation on the FPGA. And in addition, we can parallelize the ECLA code to obtain better speedups. In addition, external function can manipulate OCaml values. The idea is to implement parallel skeletons over OCaml data structures. And so it is mainly a work in progress to add an exception mechanism in ECLA and relax the ECLA synchronous semantics to support concurrent memory accesses, general recursion, and dynamic allocation. Now we can program with it data parallel skeletons, instantiate several versions of the virtual machine. The idea is to program no realistic application. This semester we will teach also compilation with this framework. And finally, this compiler and the VM implementation is a free software available online. Thank you very much for your attention.
Questions? Yep.
So just to clarify, I think I gathered from your talk, the garbage collector runs outside the accelerator.
No, it is a part of the accelerators.
So you compile the garbage collector code into the VHDL?
Yes, let's say alloc. Oh, sorry. No. Sorry for that. The garbage collector is there, and it is entirely it is an ECLA program which is compiled to VHDL. There is maybe an example of generated code there. It is the code generated for the virtual machine. About that is the virtual the ECLA implementation is has about 1,500 line of code, and depending on some tunings on that we can perform in the ECLA code, we obtain about 6,000 line of code in VHDL.
You compared against another way of getting the same functionality by running a more conventional software-based interpreter on a soft core, and you only gave us the performance numbers to compare those two. What about area and power?
Oh, in the paper we are. In the paper we just add some. We explain the area of the for the virtual machine, but we do not compare. Maybe we do not very compare we do not compare the power at all, and for area not so much with softcore implementation.
I don't understand what you mean by not so much. You mean the software implementation looks a lot better for area, or what do you mean by that?
I think yes. I think yes. Now, imagine we can probably have a better implementation. But the OCaml virtual machine has more than 150 instructions. There is, for instance, a lot of additions. somewhere.
You're generating separate adders for all those cases?
No, but it is in the ECLA language that the implementer has to share some additioner or something.
Okay.
But in this case, the generated circuit, the throughput is reduced, for instance, because we have to wait for one tick to synchronize the access to a multiplayer, for instance.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other question? Yeah.
Hi. Do you have any interoperability with something like HardCamel code or other HDL? Like, or is it all just in these two ecosystems? I mean, which is impressive as it is, but yeah.
In fact, there is a HardCamel implementation, experimental HardCamel implementation of the OCaml virtual machine, with no garbage collector, I think. Much more simulation. And anyway, in ECLA, we have to customize the compiler to add some primitives, but there is no interoperability at the programmer level to add some external code written in VHDL or HardCaml. But it will be a nice functionality.
Time for one more. Okay, maybe I can ask one. Like, do you actually envision people using this VM implementation to program, an FPGA in OCaml? Is that useful, or is it something that you did just to demonstrate the power of the language of ECLA itself? I mean,
that is. It is a very recent work. I will use it to program an application with probably probably an embedded systems, reactive embedded systems at the ECLA level, with some complex computations running using the virtual machines. That's all.
yeah, well, that answers the question. Thank you. Let's
Thank you very
thank
much.
the speaker one last time.
Thank you.